And they just been
That's
really...
old news, though, you know, that's all old news. I didn't lie about
But I haven't interviewed you, so it's new news for my audience, so let's get into it.
They don't like that, man.
That don't bother me. I'm not liked by a lot of people a lot of times,
Me
but
too.
I say what I want to say
So do
because
I.
I'm an American. I
Word.
have that right.
Hey, me too.
You think that's good?
I'm not sure if I was poking fun at him as much, because to be totally honest with you, I wasn't feeling funny. That was about to go out to my audience that night. Some things that were untrue, some intentional lies, and I felt I was being used, and my audience trusts me.
I've heard stories about me lying about where I came from and everything, and I never lied. Let me just tell you, when the record company creates all this stuff, bios around you, and so I realized I was being tricked. I was played, and it was to avoid the interview. Hey, just don't do the interview.
Yeah, he was pretty cold towards Vanilla. That was one of the few times I saw him actually get into it with somebody. They kind of sort of got into it. They started going back and forth.
That's how Diddy got in trouble.
Yeah. You know? Oh, I want to ask you, did you ever go to parties?
Yeah, but now keep in mind,
I'm going to.
in all fairness, there are different kinds of Diddy parties.
Course. Okay, hold on to your seats because Vanilla Ice just dropped a bombshell and it's shaking up everything we thought we knew about that infamous Arsenio Hall interview. According to Ice, Arsenio didn't just have a bad day. He was allegedly playing a major role in a bigger, dirtier scheme to destroy Ice's career. But, plot twist, Arsenio may have just been another puppet in a much more sinister game run by a powerful industry gatekeeper. And these aren't your everyday music execs. Nope, we're talking about folks with shady reputations and even darker secrets. Apparently this secret club, yes, that kind of club, was full of power players who demanded loyalty, silence, and, well, participation in some disturbing things. And Ice, he wasn't having any of it. He refused to bow to their twisted little world, and that's when the war on his career began. And guess who stepped up as the face of that attack? Yup. Arsenio.
And what did your right hand say to you when his right hand took your right hand?
It was like, first thought was how big it was. Second thought was 20,000.
If you've been following this drama, then you already know we've covered how Vanilla Ice became a target. But this time, it's getting way more personal. Wayne, we're talking about powerful forces, ones even tied to Diddy's mentors coming for him. Vanilla Ice made a choice. He said no. No to their club, no to their power plays. But you don't just say no and walk away clean. They tried to ruin him, drag his name through the mud, twist his image. And that's where Arsenio enters the chat. Back then, Ice might have been the butt of some jokes, sure. But don't get it twisted, he had the respect of some of the realest in the game. Tupac, MC Hammer, even Coolip gave him his props. So why was he suddenly enemy number one?
Tupac and I are good friends.
Yeah.
Good dude. Gave me some of my greatest advice because he saw me going through hell with all the hatred and all this. He stood up for me and said straight up, Ice, you're dope.
Because this industry, it doesn't just want you successful, it wants to own you. And if you won't let it, it comes for you. Ice was labeled a culture vulture, accused of disrespecting hip-hop. And Arsenio, he wasn't there to interview Vanilla Ice, he was sent there to bury him. That late-night interview that everyone thought was just another promo stop, it was actually a full-blown ambush. Ice didn't just survive it, though. He fought his way out. But make no mistake, his escape came at a price. He faced forces most artists wouldn't dare whisper about. Let's dive into the whole mess.
You know, I heard you say so, a while back, he got the white boy's disease, he can't dance, you know? And
Actually, I said he had ice disease.
Okay.
Let's rewind to 1990. Vanilla Ice walks onto the Arsenio Hall show. Riding high off his massive success, Ice Ice Baby was topping charts, breaking records. It was history-making. But instead of celebrating him, Arsenio went full attack mode. From the second Ice sat down, the vibes were off. Arsenio wasn't there to uplift. He came to interrogate. He hit Ice with jabs about his background, accused him of faking his street cred, and basically tried to expose him as a fraud right there in front of millions. It wasn't an interview. It was a takedown attempt, plain and simple.
Now, listen to all that. Do you deserve that?
check this out, I want to do something, man. Before we get into all this stuff, I want to give a special shout out, and I want to bring a homeboy of mine out here. Flavor Flav.
It's a pleasure.
You know, it's a lot.
Now, do you mind waiting for us over there while we do this interview, please?
Like, you know, it's like, ha, right in your face, you know.
So this is a white rapper being suppressed kind of revenge.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, you know they bleeped it out on the West Coast and nobody got to hear it, so I figured we'd go into it and everything. You have been embroiled in a lot of controversy. The press has been really hard on you lately, saying that you lie about your background. And they've just been really...
That's old news, though, you know, that's all old news. I didn't lie about
But I haven't interviewed you, so it's new news for my audience, so let's get into it. What do you have to say to the press in the way they've been after you?
Well, you know, there's always going to be a bad apple in the bunch. Ever since my record went #1, everybody's got it, you know, I'm a prime suspect to be picked on. And they're picking on me. I mean, that's all there is to it. I had to, pull my pants down on
You didn't have to.
I had to prove that I'm not a liar for something I'm not even proud about, getting stabbed. I did get stabbed 5 times, almost died. Something I'm not proud about. I am from the streets, and if you can't see that I'm from the streets, then you're blind. Because the majority of white people, you know, cannot dance, and they don't have much rhythm, you know?
He did this. You make white people angry at you, man.
No, man. Hey, you know, I mean, I'm just saying that, you know, I said the majority. It's true, because, you know, I heard you say so a while back, he got the white boy disease, he can't dance, you know? And
actually, I said he had ice disease.
Okay.
At that moment, Vanilla Ice was flying. Ice Ice Baby had just become the first hip-hop single to top the Billboard Hot 100. He should have been celebrated. Instead, Arsenio fixated on dismantling his image. Like, not a word about his success. Just suspicion, shade, and setup.
No, you know I've done my jokes too because I've been reading things in the paper. Not necessarily about the way you dance, but like the motocross champion.
I did win 3 championships from the Grand National Championship, GNC. Yes, I did.
Why is this Dallas paper saying that you're a liar?
The fact is I live in Dallas now. I've lived there for the last 4 years. I've lived there before then. I did attend a high school there. I never said I didn't. And they're making it look like I said I didn't. Dallas is my home away from home. I have a house in Dallas right now. I have a home in Miami.
I guess there was a question as to whether you actually went to school with Luke Campbell.
No, I never went to school with him, and I never said I did go to school with him. See, they twist my words and make it say like I said this and that when I didn't do anything.
You knew Luke when you were in school?
I didn't meet Luke until this year.
Well, how did school and Luke get together?
No, I attended one of the same high schools that Luther Campbell had attended somewhere, and he's way older than me, man. How could I attend the same high school with him, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
That's impossible. And I never said I did, and all my entire group I met in Dallas. I won a talent contest in Dallas. Dallas is great. I love Dallas. I've never said anything about anything like that, man. I love Dallas. I love Miami as well. You know, and the bottom line is about the whole thing is it ain't where you're from, man, it's where you're at.
Then came one of the messiest moments. Arsenio tried to say Ice only brought Flavor Flav with him for credibility. Like, seriously? Ice clapped back fast, saying Flav was just a friend and they were touring together. But Arsenio wasn't hearing it. He kept digging, trying to shake Ice's composure.
You seem to be having a lot of problems. Like you talked about people that said a white boy couldn't rap. I guess there are a lot of battles you're experiencing. KRS-One said that you present a distorted mutation of rap. What is that? I'm not sure what that means.
I have no idea what it meant. I read the same article. They also said that, you know, I'm bringing rap music to an audience that has never heard it before as well. So, you know, whether I like it or not, it's bringing rap music up, you know? I mean, I'm putting it in front of people that never even considered listening to rap music.
Yeah.
And now they're considering it, and it's bringing rap music up. You know, rap music is here to stay. No matter what color it is, I'm not the Elvis of rap. That's another thing, you know. I'm Vanilla Ice. I'm not no Elvis Presley.
You know, I know a lot of black rappers are probably angry because some of the white people screaming didn't buy rap until you did it, until they saw a vanilla face on the cover of an album. That probably makes them angry because
if it makes them angry, you know, angry. It's not my fault. Did I have anything to do with that?
So
no.
They should dog the people.
What they're saying is they're showing their own jealousy, man. That's all it is. You saw Flavor Flav, you know, me and him, we're homies.
Is that why you brought him out, just to show you have a black supporter? And
no, I brought him out because he's a friend of mine.
But then the audience flipped. The audience. You could see Arsenio freeze for a second. He thought the crowd would laugh with him, mock Ice. Instead, they stood by Ice. Arsenio looked like he couldn't believe it. That smug smirk gone. Because Ice, the so-called outsider, was winning the crowd.
They don't like that, man.
That don't bother me. I'm not liked by a lot of people a lot of times,
Me
but
too.
I say what I want to say
So do
because
I.
I'm an American. I have that right.
Okay, me too.
You think that's the real thing? Don't phase me. I asked the question I asked. I didn't see a purpose. It seemed like an unmotivated walk-on. I wonder why you did it.
Show that he's my homeboy and he's in town and I'm kicking it with him and if you know I'm gonna help him out like he helps me out. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna bring him out, but I like to bring him out when he's a guest. I didn't know exactly why you did it, though. I
Surprise.
was going to see if you had an answer for me.
Not done yet, Arsenio took one last jab. I mean, he brought up MC Hammer and tried to accuse Ice of bad-mouthing him. But again, no receipts, no facts. And Ice, he cleared up quick. No drama with the Hammer, just another attempt to stir the pot. But Ice wasn't falling for it.
I guess you and Hammer have been having some problems, too. Hammer took you on the road, and now you've been quoted in a lot of interviews saying things about him. Where did that battle come about? When did the friendship break off?
There's no battle. We're still friends as far as I'm concerned. I have never said anything bad about Hammer, and I don't
That's
think
not true. I have an audio tape of you talking about Hammer.
What did I say bad about it?
You said a lot of things, but you talked about opening for Hammer, but you getting more screams and applause.
Is that saying anything bad about Hammer? No. That ain't
How
saying
about
nothing
you
about
being
it.
sexier than Hammer? You dancing
I
better
never
than
said
Hammer?
that. I never said that.
So the press once again is twisting things that you said.
Yeah, exactly. I never said that.
Woman, he gave you a shot.
And I read some of the things that they said that I said bad about him, and I didn't say a lot of bad things about him. I never said anything bad about him. I have nothing to say bad about him. He's good. He's great. You know, he looks at it more like this is a competition deal. Man, that's enough to go around for everybody. I mean, I'm in it to win it, man.
He just was hurt. He was just hurt because he read these things. He'd been on the road with you, and he didn't know why you were saying these things, but you have an opportunity now to say it's the press, it's not you.
You know, people, they like to twist things and everything, and you know, since Hammer and I are like in the same category, like as far as in the pop charts and stuff, you know, and we're kind of competing as far as to the public or whatever in the charts race and all this stuff. You know, people want to make it, you know, look like there's a competition deal here and stir some stuff up. The bottom line is he sells records, but still, you know, I have nothing bad to say about him. Hammer's great. He's a great entertainer, and I like him a lot, you know?
That's good. He'll be glad to hear this
I have nothing bad to say about anybody.
Yeah.
Even after all that shade, all the gotcha questions, Ice didn't lash out. He didn't throw Arsenio under the bus. He kept his cool, answered everything straight, and took the high road. And that's what really shook Arsenio. You could see it.
Now you know all your fans mad at me because I probed, you know.
They love you, man. Nobody can be mad at you.
This is what I do, man. I get to the bottom of it. You know? I get to... And in your behalf, man, I talked to Hammer last night. He's a sensitive brother. He was hurt by it all. This is Vanilla Ice. The album is called Scream.
Because here's the thing. Ice didn't act like a guilty man. He wasn't defensive. He wasn't shady. He was calm, collected, and real. And the crowd, they saw that. Even on Arsenio's turf, they cheered Ice on. Fans watching now say Ice handled that better than most people ever could. But this wasn't just ego. This wasn't personal. This was a hit job. Arsenio wasn't just being a jerk, he was being used. At the time, Arsenio's show was a tool, a platform the industry used to shape how artists were seen, and Ice, they wanted him painted as a fraud. Later, Arsenio tried to spin it, said he had a bad day, blamed his team, claimed he was fed the questions. But fans didn't buy it, they saw through it. Meanwhile, Ice never trashed Arsenio. In fact, get this, he apologized. He said sorry for the way the interview went down, even though it wasn't his fault.
You know, I felt a little bit of a, you know, kind of poking fun at him a little bit of, you know, how hard it was for a white rapper and how he gets criticized.
Well, you know, it's interesting. There are some elements of that.
Let's break it down. I'm not sure if I was poking fun at him as much, because to be totally honest with you, I wasn't feeling funny. I'd had a long, hard day. And I probably wasn't feeling like teasing anyone. I'd had some things go on in the research process with him, and I'd been misled with some information that was about to go out to my audience that night. Some things that were untrue, some intentional lies, and I felt I was being used, and my audience trusts me. My audience knows that if I say it, or if I'm dealing with something, I at least believe it, or I'm trying to be an honest man. And it started in the middle of the day when I was given the statistic about him winning a motocross competition or something, and I found out it was untrue, and then this was untrue, and that was untrue. And it just was a confrontational day. So I probably didn't deal with Vanilla Ice in the way that people are accustomed to me dealing with guests, because I'm that warm and fuzzy guy. But it wasn't a warm and fuzzy day.
But now we're hearing the whispers, louder than ever, that Arsenio was just a pawn. The real plan, it came from higher up. Ice was on top of the world, and they wanted to bring him crashing down. Arsenio was just the face of the takedown.
This show got canceled right after that.
You brought out Flavor Flav, and he criticized that.
Yeah, he didn't like that because he thought, because Flav was actually, we were hanging all week. Flav and our buddies.
I love Flav, man.
The best.
I love Flav.
The greatest legend ever, man.
He mentioned KRS-One dissing you, saying that you presented a distorted mutation of rap.
Yeah, and now KRS-One and I are friends.
Right. He tried to say that you were beefing with MC Hammer, which you weren't.
You know, it's a lot of propaganda. It's like, you know, when they do that Trump thing and everybody get on the Trump hater wagon. You've seen it. It happens. People have hatred for no reason. Why? Because I've told to. Because that person does it. Because it's the trend. And that's what happens when you're the #1 selling hip-hop artist of all time. Whether you're white or black, they're gonna come at you. Yeah.
Now, hold on to your jaw, because things are about to get even messier. Word on the street is that before that chaotic Arsenio interview even happened, Vanilla Ice had already become a target. And not just any target. We're talking about the kind of industry hit list that ends careers, ruins lives, and buries the truth. See, Ice was allegedly invited to some of those infamous secret parties. You know, the ones we've all heard whispers about for years. Bizarre, ritualistic gatherings that happen far away from the cameras. And guess what the point of those parties was? Not networking, not partying, controlled. Straight up blackmail. The artists get recorded, coerced, and manipulated so that the industry higher-ups, those invisible puppeteers, can pull the strings for the rest of their careers. And here's where it gets chilling. These stories, they're not just internet folklore. Multiple insiders, managers have stepped forward over the years saying, yes, this is real, I saw it happen. It's the entertainment industry's got a dark underbelly, and Ice almost got swallowed whole.
What they do is this is what they do, and they know what they do with the artists is easy. They send the stylist at them first.
Yeah. Yep.
And if the stylist report back and be like, oh, he ready, then they invite you to the party. And that's when they be like, yo, look, when you go in here, it's gonna be some, you know what I mean? It's a at the door.
Okay, now look, what Ali Vegas is doing to you right now, he's giving you the game of how these be getting turned out.
Yeah, like
they try to put this tight shirt on you.
That's what they do.
And if you wear the shirt,
they like, oh, he ready.
He with it.
That's you telling them like, yeah, I'm ready. And then next thing you know, you get invited to the bar.
At the heart of this twisted system, it's not about music. It's not even about money. It's about power. Total control. The moment an artist questions the system or dares to say no, that's when they get silenced. They're either publicly humiliated, blackballed, or made into a meme. They become jokes, puppets, or cautionary tales. And Vanilla Ice, he said no, loud and clear. He didn't play along, he didn't fake it, and that terrified the puppet masters. According to recent rumors, when they tried to lure him into those freak-off parties, the same ones now linked to Diddy, Ice walked away. Not only that, but he later threw subtle shade, hinting at just how fake, controlling, and dark the industry really is. Ice never cared for the flashy image. The cars, the chains, the clout, it didn't own him. That's why they couldn't break him.
This is a quote that you said in one of your interviews. You said, at one point in my life, I didn't even know who I was, what my purpose was. I didn't want to live anymore. With hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank, I didn't give a shit about life. Who I am today is a complete flip the script opposite of that, and just super grateful, man, for my family, for my kids. And that's the meaning of life, man, the true meaning of life.
100%. We can go around as a young person in this globe and see life in a different way. And then you know what happens is, I shook this whole globe up, you know, like a snow globe. I shook it up. And you think reality is what you see in front of you, and then the snow globe kind of settles a little bit, and then you find out that none of it was real. It was all artificial. It's all just entertainment world. It's all on how people view you, even you. And you find your purpose, you find out who you are. And I didn't know who I was. You know what I mean? Like, I know Justin Bieber could definitely use some advice. Lost. Because with all the success, nobody that, especially with what happened to me, 10 times even bigger than Bieber, because, or anybody, because of being me and white and who I am. And at the time, it was something far more impactful, if that makes any sense, for people to hate on or take a punch at or anything, right? So it was a groundbreaking thing that really was, and probably could have killed me in many, many ways. Not just the Suge Knight way but suicidal way, to the point where all my dreams that I thought were dreams turned out to be nightmares. And I figured out the biggest value and purpose in life is that it has nothing to do with money or buying all these things.
Speaking of freak-off parties, can we talk about how Diddy is now getting exposed for the very same rituals these executives allegedly tried to rope Ice into decades ago? Here's the kicker. Diddy didn't invent this. He allegedly learned it from his mentors, the same creepy figures who had their eyes on Ice back in the day. Even Suge Knight, speaking from behind bars, is asking why these shady mentors never got exposed or punished. Why is all the heat falling on Diddy now, when his puppet masters are still out there, untouched, protected?
I walked in Jimmy's office. I didn't have to knock on the door or get somebody let Jimmy know Mr. Knight there. Walk right in. He do the thing. Anyway, when he walked in my office, we was having a conversation. He overheard somebody say something he probably shouldn't have heard. He wanted to holler at me. So I said, the homies, give me a minute. Jimmy said, man, I'm here because Clyde Davis called me, and him and Puffy is real tight and, you know, love. So I thought he was talking about like they got love for each other. All right. He said, yeah, they are lovers. I said, well, why you keep saying that? I said, look, you saying they lovers like they sucking? He said, I don't want to say that, but that's what it means, right? I said, okay. He said, Clyde don't want nothing to happen to Puffy. He said, but this guy ain't going to be able to do his business because we know what he did. What they did.
Let's rewind again. Right after Ice Ice Baby blew up, that song had the whole world on fire. And guess who came knocking? Big names, huge players. The late Charles Koppelman, a major executive tied to Clive Davis, Diddy's mentor, mind you, was one of the people who allegedly set sights on Ice. Not just as a star, but as a pawn. A moneymaker they could own. That's when the invitations started coming, the whispers. The nudges to show up at certain events. Ice saw through it. And before they could tighten the leash, he ghosted. He dipped from the spotlight, turned his back on the music industry entirely, and that decision, it saved his soul. It saved his life. He wasn't willing to sell himself for fame, and that choice led him to something even better. Because while the industry was busy trying to erase him, Ice was busy building a legacy on his own terms.
The great thing is I found another passion that you know, does make money, but I enjoy myself as well. I've been doing real estate now for 15 years, and it's evolved. And the good thing is that most people want to hear, is it back? Is it great today? I think it's better than ever. I think the most important thing is that, you know, yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery. Take it day by day. And, you know your markets. It's very important.
So while Vanilla Ice was out there dodging ritual parties and rejecting the industry's dirty tricks, he was also out here quietly flipping the script on his entire life. And get this, he didn't just walk away, he won. He pivoted to real estate. Yeah, real estate. He started flipping houses, renovating homes, and turning run-down spaces into dream properties. What started as a side hustle, it exploded into a full-blown empire. His show, The Vanilla Ice Project, became a huge hit. The man built a multi-million-dollar real estate career and did it all without compromising himself or selling out to the dark side. While the industry that once tried to destroy him crumbled under its own lies and scandals, Ice was chilling, literally living his best life in a mansion he probably flipped himself. Meanwhile, guess who didn't age so well in this story?
Go to a Diddy party. Yeah, but now keep in mind.
I'm going to.
In all fairness, there are different kinds of Diddy parties. I've seen Diddy parties where children were there, you know?
I think that was the problem.
Well, okay, let me start over. Where, say, for instance, you use a person's home and their family in the home. Right. So fun, legitimate, 8 p.m.
Right.
Lots of food and music.
Okay.
Then there are
Is that the one you went to?
Yes.
Oh.
That's one of the ones I went to. Now, I've also seen the ones that last longer than 8 or 9. And my secret has always been, first of all, I don't go anywhere without my woman. You know, I think don't go anywhere alone. I swear to you, if you have the rule of not going anywhere alone, you don't get in as much trouble. It's very rarely that somebody say, yeah, me and my boys are hanging out. I end up with it in my ass. You know, it's when you go someplace alone and stay too long, that's when trouble happens. But
So the problem with being alone is you can end up with a
I just was making Jack was listening.
Yes.
But the bottom line is, I've been to dinner parties at Diddy's houses or different places. I've never been to the ones that I know you're hoping that I can talk about. And that's the ones where there
I don't hope. I want to know.
1,000 bottles of baby oil.
Yup. Arsenio Hall. While Ice built a clean legacy far away from Hollywood's chaos, Arsenio's name started popping up in all the wrong places. Suddenly, he wasn't just the guy who tried to ambush Vanilla Ice on his show. No. Now he's being linked to the same disturbing freak-off parties that Ice walked away from. Rumors have been swirling, fans are digging, receipts are surfacing, and people are talking. Back in October 2022, shortly after Diddy was arrested, Arsenio popped up on Howie Mandel's podcast. And what did he admit? He went to Diddy's parties. Straight up admitted it. Then came the backtracking. Oh, he said there were different types of parties and tried to distance himself from the ones involving underage guests, but people weren't buying it. Not for a second. So here we are, full circle. Vanilla Ice, the guy everyone once clowned, stood tall against the biggest machine in entertainment. They tried to erase him, tried to paint him as a fraud. They sent Arsenio Hall to do their dirty work on live television. They labeled him a culture vulture, called him a fake. Even tried to drag his name through every tabloid and shady industry conversation. But what did he do? He didn't fight dirty. He didn't scream or storm off the stage. He stood there, looked that setup straight in the eye, and answered every trap question with grace, honesty, and realness. While Arsenio threw shade, Ice showed class. And the audience, they felt it. The energy shifted. It was clear Ice wasn't just another puppet, he was real, and he wasn't going to break. And behind that awkward couch interview, a much darker game was unfolding. Those secret parties, the blackmail, the control tactics. Vanilla Ice had seen enough to walk away, and walk away he did. He turned his back on an industry that was ready to chew him up and spit him out, and instead of being bitter, he thrived. He built a new legacy. A real one. No scandal, no lawsuits, no freak-off rumors, just hard work, talent, and peace of mind. Meanwhile, Arsenio, the very same guy who once sat smug on his throne trying to take Ice down on TV, is now being whispered about in the very same creepy context he once helped shield. His name is now floating in the same scandalous cloud as the people Ice ran from. And the public? They're not forgetting, because you can't rewrite history without the receipts. And now, those receipts are coming in. That 1990 interview was never just about street cred or hip-hop. It was about power. It was about obedience. And Vanilla Ice, he broke the rules. He said no. And in doing so, he proved something bigger than any record sales or TV ratings ever could. That you can walk away from the machine and still win. So here's to the ones who never sold their souls for fame, to the ones who didn't party with devils in exchange for power, to the ones who told the truth, even when the world tried to silence them. Because in the end, they're the real legends. And Vanilla Ice, he's not just a survivor, he's a warrior who beat the game without ever playing it. Out ever playing it. Out